Hi, welcome to episode 6. Today we are going to discuss the CAF Product Framework. And don't worry if you never heard about it before. It's a framework I came up with after working with dozens of product managers, and it will help you make sense in your day-to-day job and will also make you combat chaos. Let's go. So, if I had to predict the main challenges that would be raised on my first meeting with a new mentee seeking my advice, it would probably be one of the following. 1. How to properly prioritize features and backlogs. 2. How to properly manage sprints. 3. How to properly manage customer requests and weigh them against internal stakeholders' requests or the product roadmap. 4. How to properly decide what should be on the product roadmap. And 5. How to manage chaos and continuous urgent requests that are breaking the sprints. And it can be any variation of those. Of course, from time to time, the challenges that are brought up are a bit different, but for most of the cases, this is how the first session commences. What's common to all of these challenges is the lack of a Uber guiding principle for prioritization. Additionally, the sense of chaotic reality is being brought up almost every time. Those two are of course connected, and I'll explain why soon. About 3 years ago, I published an article titled "The Universe You Operate In." The goal of this post was to divide the universe of product managers into layers which I called the spheres of responsibility. Each layer encompassed one or more product management concepts that product managers would need to address and add its own depth. Those layers would make a pyramid with the following layers: mission, North Star, product strategy, product roadmap, quarterly planning, and hands-on product management. When I first shared this pyramid concept, I hadn't envisioned it becoming the cornerstone of my training for product managers. Yet, it quickly proved pivotal, guiding nearly all of my initial mentoring sessions to reframe challenges from a broader, more accurate perspective. Let's dive into it so you'll have a better understanding of what I mean. So, as I said, the universe of product management can be divided to spheres or layers, where each layer encompasses an area of responsibility for product managers. Each layer has its own depth, and today I'm going to briefly discuss each of the layers. However, remember that if you wish to take a deeper dive into any of the layers, you can find more information in the knowledge base on my site, and I will provide a link in the description. So let's start with the top layer, the company's mission. At the top of the pyramid, we have the company's mission. In short, the company's mission is how the company is going to make the world a better place using its products. The mission is determined by the founding team of the company. And in fact, once the company has received its first significant funding or revenues, it would be very hard to change. Therefore, as a product manager, you have only one choice you can make. Do you connect to this mission and want to work in this company or not? Once you made the decision to become part of the company, you need to treat this mission as an axiom. The next layer is the North Star, and this is where things are starting to get more interesting. You see, each company tracks many KPIs. Some of them are more important than others, but many claim, and so do I, that for each company or a business unit, if the company is big, there is one KPI which is the most important one. We call it the North Star. There is a lot to discuss about this KPI, but we won't do it now. You can read my post about it if you wish to learn more, and I will add the link in the description. In short, though, the North Star can tell you whether your company or business unit is headed in the right direction or not. That is, of course, assuming you designed it correctly. A proper North Star will fulfill the following 3 criteria. 1. It would be a good leading indication for your revenue trend, meaning if it's heading up, expect your revenues to increase, and vice versa if not. It would be a good leading indicator for gaining or losing market share, meaning if it's heading up, expect your market share to increase, and vice versa. And 3, it would be a good indicator that the overall value that you deliver to your customers or users is increased or decreased depending on its trend. Again, we can talk about it much more, but we won't do it now. Essentially, though, the existence of the North Star communicates to everyone in your organization what success means. It can also serve as the ultimate prioritization key for initiatives and big features, based on the evaluation of which of them will contribute more to the increase of the North Star. Then, the next layer is the product strategy. There are many ways to define product strategy. I prefer, like always, a more direct and clear approach. As I see it, the product strategy is the plan of how your product needs to be shaped in order to take the North Star to the sky in the fastest manner possible. The strategy typically spans over a year and a half to 2 years into the future, taking many factors into account. Again, this is a huge topic, and you are welcome to read the trove of posts I've written about this topic on my site. From what I observed though, a company or a business unit needs to take a different approach to strategy based on whether they are pre-initial product market fit or after. If your company hasn't achieved initial product market fit, then the strategy will most likely focus on how to attain it as quickly as possible. If your company has passed this stage, then usually the product strategy would focus on growth and gaining market share as fast as possible. The next layer is the product roadmap. While the product strategy aims deep into the future, the product roadmap is more down to earth and usually focused on the next 12 months. The roadmap needs to serve the strategy, and it is therefore focused on high-level capabilities that need to be developed in the coming quarters, hence high-level capabilities over a timeline. I do cover it on my site, though from my personal experience the product roadmap is vastly overrated, and it's one of the easiest things to design. I'm saying this because if your product strategy is solid, then you already know what should be on your roadmap. The next layer is the quarterly plan. Unlike the roadmap, and definitely unlike the strategy, the quarterly plan is in the very small details. As its name suggests, it looks only one quarter ahead, and it needs to contain everything that is going to take time from your dev team or any other workforce which is assigned to you. This is why I consider the quarterly plan as the most daunting product management task. It's very hard to do right, and even if you do it right, nobody will be happy when you are done. Anyway, if you are not sure you are doing it right, I have a post under the quarterly planning section on my site. And we have reached the last layer, the hands-on layer. Here I include writing PRDs, specs, managing and planning sprints, interviewing customers, managing day-to-day priorities, and orchestrating the product delivery process, and more. Many product managers mistakenly believe that this is their sole job. I mean, as a product manager, you definitely need to do this, but it's only part of your job. I devote a great portion of my post on covering the hands-on layer, and I also offer a crash course on this. You can find it all on my site. Anyway, this is the pyramid. Now let's see what it gives us. What I like about this pyramid is what I found over the years to be very true. Each layer in this pyramid frames and aligns the layer below it. Here are some questions that prove that. If you don't have a North Star, how do you expect to develop a strong product strategy? If you don't have a product strategy, what do you base your roadmap on? From my experience, with a lack of strategy, you just dump a few big features your customers ask for and convince your manager that it's a great roadmap. Your manager will probably approve it because they can't tell themselves what's the big plan. If you don't have a roadmap, how do you decide what you should work on in the next quarter? Again, from my experience, with a lack of a roadmap, you revert to the tactical initiatives your management declared on the day before. They will probably change their mind right after you are done with your plan, because everything is tactical and opportunistic, but hey, you've got a plan. And if you don't have a quarterly plan, how do you decide what gets into your next sprint? Let me tell you what I see. Whomever shouting the loudest or of higher rank gets their items into the sprint, right? If your product team makes an effort and builds this pyramid properly, then a lot of magical things will happen. First, everyone understands what's the plan and where the ship is sailing to. Two, you're not spending your time on tasks that have little impact. Three, your company chooses the opportunities to tackle much more carefully and in the light of whether they serve the strategy, resulting in much less noise in your day-to-day. 4. Sprint planning becomes trivial, the quarterly planning becomes much more bearable, and the roadmap, as I noted before, becomes much easier to build. And 5. The chaos that was haunting the corridors slowly dissolves. This is why I call this framework the CAF Product Framework. The CAF stands for clarity, alignment, and focus, which is what you get for properly applying it in your organization or business unit. Sounds like an utopia? Well, it definitely sounds good. Is it achievable? Definitely. I applied it successfully in the business units I was leading as a product leader, and many of my mentees managed to apply it successfully in their companies. Still skeptical? Don't think you can make this change on your own? If you are tired of chaos, working on future features, and struggling with sprint planning, embracing this framework isn't optional. It's necessary for a strategic future. Yes, it takes some convincing. Yes, you might make slow progress on that. However, you are not alone. You have your manager, who might feel the same and might join forces with you on that. You can also read my articles that cover this challenge and how to tackle it more deeply, and I'll provide the links in the description. And you can also reach out to me. I'll make the best attempt to find the time to talk to you. Thank you and good luck.